Would they shut the beaches if 2 people got attacked by a shark in 9 days? I don't
They
know that they
also
would
Feel
today.
like, yeah.
they also
They
like
would.
You
believed
don't fucking know, Sam.
Dude, I grew up on a beach. Are you
I'm a
kidding me?
fucking beach lifeguard. I think I fucking outrank your ass.
I was on the swim team and I'm lifeguard
So was
certified,
I.
so maybe
So
I
was I.
outrank
I
you.
was on the swim team too. All right.
I
Go
got
ahead, JP.
several swimming there. Hey, yacht and sailing camp. I know how to. Did you even know what kind of boat that is? That's a sunfish, buddy.
Catamaran. All right. 50th anniversary of Jaws. Everyone saw this in the theater?
I did.
Yeah.
I watched it again this morning, but I had a really drunk guy with me named Famid who was yelling, "Woo!" every time the shark was shown on screen, which honestly, like, kind of added to the experience. And I thought each time I thought was appropriate.
Yeah. I'm glad it worked out that way because obviously there's a good chance that it could be the complete opposite, but sometimes that stuff can be additive.
Temperamental
I think I was
shark.
the young.
Go ahead.
I think I was the youngest person in my viewing. Was that the same for you guys?
There weren't particularly old people in mine.
I got the vibe that like everyone there saw it when it originally came out, and they were going back to theaters to see it again.
That's
I did not see it when it originally came out, just to clarify.
Yeah.
But I was
Don't
excited to
hope
see
not.
the temperamental shark named Bruce who didn't follow directions, which we got from the little on-camera intro.
Dude, you know why? I watched the documentary. Did you guys watch that documentary on Hulu? Dude, they're fucking idiots. I'll tell you exactly why that shark didn't work. It's because they built it thinking only about fresh water.
Then they put it
It's
in
like
salt.
electronics. Yeah, electronics don't survive in fucking salt. Like that's so easy to know about.
If they only had Sam there to tell them when they were building the shark.
Dude, well, usually with like those kind of movies, they film it on lake
Yeah.
or they film it in a studio. So they probably just greenlit building the shark way ahead of time. And Steven Spielberg was insistent. He was like, no, we have to do it on the ocean. It'll look real.
The most cliche thing in movie making is how crazy the making of Jaws was. But the funniest part to me is that he wanted to nail the camera onto the boat so that you'd feel the rocking for the entire time they're on the boat. And we get some of that shaky cam in parts, but you would literally be seasick or throwing up if you watched an entire movie where it's just nailed the entire time.
Would not be fun. Well, how old? He was like, what, 26? And this was his second movie?
Yeah, he said 27, which just makes you want
27.
to yourself.
Every time I hear something like that, I want to die.
Yeah.
What? Oh, dude,
Hey,
look at
boys.
this. Robbie. Who the hell is Robbie?
That's me.
I can't. Oh, okay.
His name is
When-
Robert.
Is
When
your
y'all
name
said-
actually Robert?
Yeah, my first name is.
Me too.
All right, well, we just started. Did you go watch this in theaters?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to edit anything. As our resident hippie, tell us about the hippie beach scene.
The hippie beach scene, what specifically?
I just thought it was a really great intro to the little beach party, guys playing the guitar, everyone's
yeah.
getting hammered, they seem like bliss, and run off to swim naked.
Yeah, is it accurate
Yeah.
to your hippie experiences?
Yeah, I was thinking that guy missed an opportunity. You know, he was passing on the beach. I'm like, oh man, he's fumbling. You know, like he's passing on the beach instead of
He's definitely
swimming
coming.
with the girl.
He's definitely coming.
Definitely coming. And then you know, I just start hearing the music, and yeah, but no, that was actually dope. I kind of forgot about that because I was like focused on like all the stuff later in the movie, but I forgot that's how the movie, because that when I went and saw it in theaters this weekend, that was my first time seeing it. But yeah, that was a good opening scene.
Why do we like women being murdered naked?
Because there was no Pornhub at the time.
Yeah.
So
But
this is the
still
only
today.
place they could
No.
get their-
That doesn't. I still today we like to see, you know, the lady gets her titty bit by the snake on Snakes on a Plane. You know, we still like to see them getting murdered naked.
I wouldn't call snakes on a plane today, but yeah, I think
The question was compared to Pornhub, buddy. There was Pornhub when Snakes on a Plane was made.
I mean,
wasn't as widely. It wasn't
Yeah,
as widely available.
it wasn't every kid grew up with porn on their phones like it is today.
So then do you disagree that we don't like seeing women get murdered naked today?
I think there's less of it, but I still
Yeah.
think the issue is like they want to get you horned up in these genre movies before it's a good distraction, gets your emotions, your adrenaline pumping. You're in that moment. I want to see these people have sex. Like at least like that's kind of the goal of Steven Spielberg when it's done well. And she's kind of hot, and then out of nowhere comes a shark, rope-a-dope, I guess.
Also, beautiful woman getting murdered is pulls on the heartstrings more than, you know.
Thank
Not
you.
so
There we
beautiful
go. There we go. Now I don't thank you, Ellison, for bringing some personality to the response here. And thank you, JP, for just telling me exactly why.
I will point out something though, because I've seen it online recently. Apparently, a lot of Gen Z dislikes sex scenes in movies recently.
I thought that was a thing for a few years, and the past year and a half, sex scenes were back. But I'm old, so why don't the Gen Zers like sex scenes?
I was about to say, what did the article say? Did you just read the headline?
No, I read the comments. They find it uncomfortable, like whenever parents come in there and start watching the movie with them.
I mean,
Is that
sex
different
scenes
from
are
other
like-
generations?
Yeah, I think so.
I think movies and shows themselves, as time has gone on, you see more, and there's a little bit more like escalation where you look back at what was scandalous in the 70s versus now. Sometimes it feels like when they're trying to be sexy or provocative, the directors or the filmmakers, they just keep cranking it up and cranking it up. It's like, all right, this feels like porn at this point. So like maybe I'm not Gen Z, but maybe I'm one of the people the article is describing. I don't know.
I wrote, thick ass girl is the most gracious swimmer I've ever seen.
Graceful.
She was the fucking, like, they had to be saying that she was like a college swimmer or something. The way when she goes in the water, they're hammered, and she's just like
She was stroking it.
stroking through the water as
Yeah.
best as possible. Gliding would be the word I would use. But
not quick enough to get away from the
looking-
shark.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, also, what about like this huge, massive shark like has to twirl around this little girl for a little bit? Like, he'll swallow you whole, but he's gotta swing the girl around a little bit before he takes her under.
We hear all throughout the movie later that this thing is the biggest shark ever and blah, blah, blah. But don't they explain later on that like that's how they eat? They'll pick it, something like they would never do that.
You gotta tenderize you for a little bit, but then it
Yeah.
sucks you down
Sucks.
whole. I don't know. Later, when the guy's leg falls off, I was wondering, is he gonna go back and pick up that scrap? You know, like you just went for a kill, you lost like 20% of your meal in the pond, which I thought was a really
Dude.
cool like
True.
picture. Like he knocks over the boats, and we see a leg fall down by itself. What were you about
Hell,
to
he
say,
was
Sam?
reading
This-
scraps the whole time.
what do you think about-
Head.
Dude, talking about all these dead body parts, how crazy is it that during this time period, there was no PG-13? It was either PG or R. So this is a PG movie.
It's funny you say that is because when it came on, it said PG, and I was like really surprised because having not seen the movie, I'd heard that it was kind of gory and bloody.
Yeah, we see dismembered body parts. And even whenever he's flipping through the book, you just see people ripped to pieces and sewn up. That would not be a PG movie in today's climate.
And we saw
No, definitely
titties.
not.
And we saw titties,
We did see some titties. Yeah, that would be
Some-
easily, this would be rated R nowadays.
some Amity titties.
Means friendship.
I love the fucking politician. This guy's fucking awesome. And also, the PR guy running interference for him.
Yeah.
That I loved the whole. I thought a lot of the background things, the actors, like what's the guy's name? The oceanographic dude.
Oh yeah.
Cooper.
It's so hard to
Okay,
look
but-
at the cast list because they're so fucking old now. You can't compare it to the thing. But they're arguing in front of the sign with the mayor. The mayor and the police chief and this National Geographic guy are arguing heatedly, and people are just in the background, just going on about their normal lives. Like no one's gonna stop and look at this.
Yeah. I thought it was like weird that I thought it was kind of abrupt where the mayor is just like so anti closing the beaches, and he knows there's already been a murder of a young girl and the murder of an innocent dog, and then the dude gets murdered in the pond and he's in shock.
Wait, a dog? What dog died?
Dog disappeared. Like, you don't see it, but you know he got eaten.
Yeah, there's like it's
I missed it in
when
both viewings. I didn't notice that.
it's when the sheriff is like watching intently on the shore or whatever, and then like the guy's playing with the dog on the beach, and then like a minute later he's like, Skip, where are you? Like, yeah, he got eaten.
I mean, would they shut the beaches if 2 people got attacked by a shark in 9 days? I don't
Yeah,
know that they would.
I feel like yeah.
They also
They
like
would.
believed.
You don't fucking know, Sam.
Dude, I grew up on a beach. Are you
I'm a
kidding me?
fucking beach lifeguard. I think I fucking outrank your ass.
I was on the swim team and I'm lifeguard.
So was
certified,
I.
so maybe
so
I
was I.
outrank
I was
you.
on the swim team too. All right.
I
Go
got
ahead, JP.
several swimming rare. Hey, yacht and sailing camp. I know how to. Did you not even know what kind of boat that is? That's a sunfish, buddy.
Catamaran.
But they thought that they caught the shark is the thing. It's just one.
They did a great job of showing, like, depicting those people as the dummies who are going out there to try to catch fish and, like, creating risk to themselves in several instances. I cut you off, though.
But I'm just saying, like, they really, the prevailing theory was that they'd caught the shark, and we have one fringe scientist who just happens to be a main character in the movie, but he's just some guy who showed up who's like, no, I don't think that's the shark. And, like, that's all of his evidence. So I think that this time around, I remembered, like, the way I had remembered it, having seen it before, was that the mayor is just like, nah, we got to keep it open. But the whole first half of the movie, the whole town is like, no, you got to keep it open.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys if you.
All the local business owners and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
did a
like,
good job showing that he does have real pressure on him to keep the beaches open. Like, they're going to replace him. And then it was a powerful response for him to be like, we're not cutting the fucking shark open and having the little Kittner boy fall out on the dock. But the obvious follow-up is to that is like, okay, let's go cut it open in the shed. But I don't know. I like the way they did it. And also when they cut open the shark, he's just in his clothes. And now it's all like covered in, I don't know.
Shark guts.
What would you call that, Sam?
No, shark guts. That's a good.
Oh, that's not
good
fun.
enough.
Okay.
Well, hey, you used to go to Myrtle Beach, right?
I was a lifeguard at
Yeah,
Myrtle
for
Beach.
summers. Or, yeah, exactly. So like, and you've been to Beaufort during Waterfest.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to what all these people are thinking. Like, imagine if there was a shark attack like a week before Waterfest, and they're like, we got to cancel it. We're not allowed to do it. Everyone would be like, whoa,
You're soft,
let's
dude.
take it easy.
Yeah.
They'd be like, who's this fucking northern Yankee coming down here telling us that, we got to close the beaches? It definitely, I know this is supposed to take place in like up north, like Maine area, like that kind of.
I think it's like Martha's Vineyard.
It's like outside of, like, I don't know where it is, but it's up north.
No, it's in
for
Long
sure.
Island, which is how I interpret it.
Okay.
But yeah, same difference.
Yeah, but they all have that same, like, whenever they're like, oh, you're not an islander. You'll never be an islander. You have to be born here.
Are you an islander?
Like, even at the beginning, he's like, yeah, my parents are islanders. So, like, they just love to name drop that they're islanders.
Yeah.
And I know how that goes to a degree because like my dad's from New York and like my mom's from Cleveland. I grew up down south, but like they're still considered Yankees, even though they've lived there for like 50 years now.
JP would call them carpetbaggers for sure.
If they embody the culture, I wouldn't. If they're fucking
dude.
As soon as they choose to watch a professional sports game over fucking over a college game, he would start calling them carpetbaggers.
Yeah.
So it's actually exactly good analogy for what you're describing, Sam, because as long as you walk the line, you're an islander. But as soon as you're like, we got to close the beach, get this fucking New York City guy out of here.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we know all about you, Chief. You don't like the water, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool, though. He moves to an island, and before he states that, I'm like, oh, this guy loves the water. He lives on the water. He moved to this fucking island, and then he won't go in it. And I don't remember. Was there some accident that caused him to be like that?
I think they just alluded to it because they said that you're scared of water or something. He says drowning at one point. So I'm going to assume that he possibly drowned as a kid, but I don't know any facts. The book might have the facts, but he is scared of.
Has anybody read the book here?
I forgot there was a book.
I
heard about fun to do before this. Damn it.
Yeah, no, that I thought about it. I didn't have time when I realized that classic Jaws shot of the girl
titties?
Swimming. No, not titties. Not this time. It's like the cover of the book. It's like her body, and you can see the water line, and then the shark is coming like straight up. I think that was the cover of the book.
It is. You're right. Yeah. You're correct. They didn't make a poster for the movie. They just took the book's cover. And they were like, "This is good enough. Let's use that."
It is good enough. Yeah, I mean, it's dope.
Apparently, the title of the book was going to be "The Jaws of the Leviathan," and they were like, "We can't fit all that on a fucking book." So they were just like, "All right, Jaws." There. Like, they came up with the title like last minute.
Oh, they definitely made it better than they. Thank God they didn't go with that title. I don't think we would be watching it 50 years later. All right. You ask him if he's an islander. He's like, no, whatever. They go in to see the girl's body. And the detective just like can't even look at it. He's just distraught. next to it. He's like picking up the sand, like, oh my God. It's so gory.
Yeah. I mean, he's a small town sheriff. He probably doesn't see like
Beautiful titties ripped to shreds all the time. He's always, I want him to read the boating regulations. He's like, there's too many people out on that boat. Also, why does he have 2 phones in his house? And then right before he answers the phone call, his son comes in bleeding out of his hand, and he's like, you've been out there on those swings, haven't you? Stay off them. I haven't fixed them yet. Like, why hasn't he fixed the swings? He's such a safety guy.
you're saying there's some inconsistencies in his character.
I'm trying to understand for some reason, both times that scene really stuck me. He comes in there and he discovers that the kids are out there playing on the swings. No shit, they're kids. And I haven't fixed them yet. I don't know.
I don't see him as naturally a big safety guy. They're trying to make him the everyman, the person that the audience imprints on. Everybody's got household stuff they haven't gotten to yet. Everybody can relate to that. And then being like, oh shit, my kids just went out on this. The whole point is he's not an alarmist, but this situation is making him one because he's the only person looking out for people's safety. And that's why he comes across more relatable than Quint or Hooper, who you might like better, but they're not what I'd call everyman.
Also, he has like a phobia of water, so he's being more strict on the guys on the boat because he knows there's a shark. So he's probably more hyper focused on that as opposed to some random Saturday work around the house.
Yeah.
I like how he makes that. You get that other feeling where you're like, okay, this guy's from New York. He's not from there, because he makes that comment where you guys, them by their first names. Go talk to them. They're not going to listen to me.
Yeah. He's like, those first names. Go talk to those clowns.
Yeah, he's like, they're not going to listen to me. Get out there.
Those are your people. Those are your people.
His deputy is like doing nothing. So he's like trying to motivate him. He's like,
whenever he's on the phone yelling about different stuff, and he throws a bunch of beads at the window to get the deputy's attention, the deputy just turns and he just waves.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, get in here. He's like, huh?
He's like,
oh, okay.
They're going to turn this into a damn contest. These aren't our people. Do you see all those license plates out there? He also says, in New York, there's nothing you can do. But here, one man can really make a difference. There hasn't been a murder here in 25 years.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that in the 70s? That's like the height of New York City being a crime-ridden city, right?
At least it's right. I don't know about actual crime rates, but
I think in the 70s it was, because that's when we got movies like, The Vigilante. You know what I'm talking about? With Charles Bronson, I think.
Death Wish.
Or Death Wish. That's what it is.
and Eyes Wide Shut.
And Dirty Harry. Eyes Wide Shut.
Is that set in the 70s? Is that even set in New York? I rewatched the movie with Lauren last night, and as soon as they were like, a bunch of Boy Scouts out there swimming, I like turned there and I was like, oh, they're going to kill the shark. They got it taken care of.
The guy who freaked him out originally was the body examiner guy. He's like, this is no fucking way. This was an accident. Like, this girl was eviscerated. Then the mayor shows up with him on the barge, and he's like, well, we'll have to amend their reports. Like, I was wrong about that.
They don't talk about it much in the movie, but in the documentary I watched, they talked about how the fact that she was a hippie was a big reason. They were like, it could have been, these dumb fucking hippies. Let's not worry about it.
And also, he's like, goes out there, does something irresponsible. Fishing boat comes by, hits him. And right when he finishes that statement, the other guy in the background comes in. He's like, it's happened before. Just doubling it down. It's happened before. And all of a sudden, like, multiple people saying it makes it, that's their strategy, like, make it feel more real. You've heard it twice now.
Definitely a company line.
What about the caddy on the barge?
Caddy.
I don't know.
The mayor's driving like a sick caddy, and he's got it on the barge. But
what's the main character's name? Richard Dreyfuss.
Brody? Cooper.
Matt Hooper.
Matt Hooper.
I keep calling him Cooper, damn it. Hooper.
He's like terrified of water, but he was like perfectly willing to get on the barge. He's like standing on the edge.
We're talking about.
You're thinking of the sheriff.
We're talking about Brody,
Martin Brody.
Brody, okay, yeah. He's like terrified of the water, but then he just like happily gets on the barge after a shark attack.
Yeah, they make a comment later, like, you're gonna have to go out on the water eventually. And I also thought about the barge.
Hey, it's only an island if you look at it from the water.
Yeah, I did like that. They're like, you moved here, you moved to an island, you hate the water.
Yeah. The Cadillac was sweet.
So the next kill is the little kid, and they show the mom there, like, trying to get him out of the water. Does it matter that your finger's pruned? She's super concerned with how long he's been in the water, and she's like, your fingers are starting to prune.
That doesn't matter.
I know. I don't. Maybe.
I think it was like a
Did they think
was
that
like a
50 years ago, or they're just trying to show she's just like an over-concerned mom?
I interpreted it as like you're only supposed to be in there for a little bit. If you've been there long enough that your fingers prune, all right, it's time to go.
if he'd have listened to his mom,
Yeah, maybe he.
wouldn't have gotten eaten.
They run out, like she's just helplessly there, like calling for him. And then they cut immediately from that to, I guess did his mom put the bounty out? Because they
Yeah.
cut immediately from her on the beach to the sign of like, get the shark and we'll pay you. And then they go
Mhm.
right into all the business owners and the little town hall meeting.
I thought it was like the, you know, whatever, like the township that put out the bounty. Is the mom?
They made.
Yeah, it was the mom.
She was putting in a bunch of newspapers around town and whatever. Like,
Yeah, because they're like,
Well, whenever
it's not just
the
the
one guy
Gazette. She's advertising this in all the papers around here.
Well, the one guy jokes. He's like, "Is that going to be in cash or check?" And then he like laughs, and then the mayor's like, "Hold on, that's between any of that's between Mrs. Blah 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 and you guys."
Yeah,
that's the best scene because that's when we meet Quint.
well, let's hear about it.
Y'all know me.
Just the way the nails on the chalkboard too, being the way that we meet him, and I mean, my wife was like freaking out at that. It was so funny. Obviously, that's a cliche, but even in the movie, it was jarring. In a horror movie thing, like nails on a chalkboard is such a.
I mean, just talking about it makes me shiver. And then the sick drawing that he had of the shark there,
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
added to it on the chalkboard.
Was his accent supposed to be a mixed accent of New England at that time? It sounded Irish. What was his accent supposed to be? I think it was Robert Shaw was the actor that did it, but
Yeah.
I think he's English.
Did you
He
did
is.
you say Martha Vineyard?
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Yeah. There was a bunch of working class versus the elite stuff going on. So he's definitely supposed to be like a little bit Irish too.
Yeah.
It's definitely supposed to be in Massachusetts because when they talk about bordering states, they mention New York, New Jersey, Connecticut as bordering states, and they never mention Massachusetts. But then early on, Brody's like doing the accent. He's making fun
Yes,
of
yes.
a New England accent. So
The yard, the
yeah,
car.
yeah, and which this is so dumb to me, but I think it's just something that always fascinates me that his kids actually have that accent. They've only lived there like a year, but obviously kids are more impressionable, and like the dad just doesn't. And that kind of cultural divide between the dad and his kids, because to your point, Sam, like you're probably a lot more Southern than your parents are, right? Just because you actually grew up there.
Yeah. My mom talks like she's from Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10.
Yeah, you could tell that he was like putting on an accent for that movie, but I was like, what is that? Like, is that a historically accurate accent? You know?
I thought that
I wanted to know.
I was picturing him as my step granddad, Bruce. Like I felt like they were very similar. And I wasn't like, I was buying a lot of it. Like once they get on the boat, he's like, every time something happens, he relates it to some story. He's like, saw him swallow a rocking chair one time. Yeah, you tie a knot, I tied 10 knots. I can't remember what he said, damn it.
Well, dude, I always think of him. It's funny you say you think of him as your grandfather, because I think of him as like my dad, who's grandfather age.
Also a boat captain.
He owned a shrimp. Yeah, he was a shrimp boat captain. He owned a shrimp boat, and he also
What
he
you
went
think
sailing.
about that, JP? You gonna call him a fucking carpetbagger now?
I said if he does carpetbagger stuff, he'd be a carpetbagger.
And guess what? He does not watch college sports. He does not watch college sports
at all. That's fine.
Yeah, he just watches old war documentaries, but he watches them like they're college sports. He'll just be sitting there mumbling like "fucking custard." Like But hey, you stopped at the place he used to do his shrimp boating at, Gay's Fish Company.
Oh
Me and
yeah,
Ellison took a picture.
That's where you would pull by.
the Gay Fishing Company.
Yeah, that's it.
Pop really wanted to come out there.
He did not. He did not like that. That was the name of that.
Dude, I know the guy who lives there. Like he was in the grade above me. His name is Dalton Gay.
Did y'all
You
think?
know a Gay Dalton?
Did y'all? There's a couple people that did get away. So the Boy Scouts get away. The 2 fishermen that
Obviously.
throw their wife's roast out there to chum. I thought that guy was getting eaten for sure.
Oh yeah.
Just rips off the dock and these idiots fall in. That would totally happen.
That was another thing I noticed this time around was like there's a good mix of do they get away or don't they, so that you are kind of like still on edge each time. You don't know for sure people are going to die the second you hear the music.
Riddle me this, Sam. They go through the whole thing of all the splashing and shit, and the whistles attract the sharks. The kid Also, they would have shot those kids with the cardboard fin for sure, right?
Yeah, they would have. They would have shot him.
This kid,
Before they flipped over, they would have been like, "Oh, it's slowed down." Started
Also,
shooting.
why were they even doing that? Just as a prank?
Yeah.
the kids, yeah.
Hey, if we're gonna talk about those kids real quick, those kids were local kids, and one of them is actually the chief of police in that town in real life now.
Oh, wow.
Really? So the town actually exists.
Oh, that's what it said in the documentary.
I mean, that's a pretty any like little story you can tell like that in politics is powerful. So I know about this town. I almost got shot in the face
the
on
other guy-
screen.
The kid who got eaten, the first one, Alex, he opened up a restaurant like a beach themed restaurant, and one of the sandwiches was like called the Alex, and it's got him just getting eaten by a shark.
Nice.
That's really cool.
That's another tidbit for you.
But all of that's happening over there, and the shark just is like, "Nah, I'm going over here into the pond to tackle this canoe."
This shark is too fucking smart. All right, I'm just gonna assume. I'm gonna assume that people back then did not understand a lot about sharks because sharks are, first of all, none of them are man eaters. At most, they'll take a bite out of you, and then they'll be like, "That tasted awful," and then they'll leave you alone. That's why people just have one arm ripped off or one leg. Like, it's dolphins that are the weird, rapey, evil monsters. Sharks are not.
Well, I mean, there's definitely people like killed and eaten by sharks, right?
They can get, well, they'll die, but they don't get.
Because they bled out.
Sharks
from
don't
their arm
like to
being
eat
off.
them. Yeah, they'll take a bite. Like most times, they think you're a seal. That's why, like, if you're on a raft or if you're on a surfboard, they'll just see your silhouette and assume that that's like a fin or a flipper. They'll take a bite and be like, "Jesus Christ, that's not," and then they swim away.
So accurate depiction when Alex gets killed, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if he's so smart, though, why does he attack this? Why does he attack Quint's boat?
Dude, it's fucking. It doesn't make that part makes zero sense. Like, they
Wait,
gave this
no.
shark like intelligence. They made him a. You know what this shark felt like? I know that Steven Spielberg directed Jurassic Park, but the way that this shark thought and acted, they made him like a velociraptor or like the Indominus Rex, where it's like clever and smart. And I'm like, dude, sharks are. I was gonna say the R word. Sharks are stupid. Like, they're not smart. You know, sharks are older than trees. Like, actually.
I actually did.
Can
Pretty
say
insane
that
to think
I did
about.
not know that. And
If you believe
Just like
Charles
how-
Darwin, yeah.
But speaking of the shark science, one thing I thought I wanted to look back into is like all of their theories. Again, looking at it from the perspective of the town, to believe that it's the same shark doing this, you have to believe in this theory of territoriality that Hooper keeps pressing, that he makes clear is like kind of attenuated and is not the prevailing theory. And most of the time, sharks, they just be moving everywhere. So that's another thing from their perspective is like, okay, we had 2 shark attacks. Do we really think that this is all the same shark? How do we know that? Like, what, based on what, you know?
I think it was because of the size of the bite marks on the girl. They knew it was a huge shark, and then it started killing, killed the dog.
yeah,
But what if they're multiple-
once they pull the tiger shark out, he's like, "This is different than the bite radius on the girl." But I liked that 50 years ago. Like, I highly doubt the public was as educated on. This movie probably gave the
Dude.
public half their knowledge about sharks. So I like that he's throwing out this like, not too crazy theory about what's going on with the shark. They needed some, to your point, actually, they needed some theory or like argument to think we need to act on this now and not just ignore that it's a shark attack.
To piggyback off that, they had to fire the first director because he kept calling it a whale. They're like, all right, this guy doesn't, these people don't know anything about sharks back then. Speaking of whale, Quint's character is supposed to be like a Moby Dick Captain Ahab, right?
Definitely. He's obsessed with it.
That's the vibe I got.
Yeah. And honestly, I remember him getting eaten, and I was thinking about Moby Dick, and I'm like, he's going to be obsessed with the shark and he's going to try to like battle it and go down. But really, with going back to the working class versus the elite stuff, he's like talking shit to Matt Hooper. He's like, "That's a bunch of fancy gear you got on here. Not sure what it's going to do with the sharks." Because he just talked about the compressed air, and he's like, he might eat it or something like that. Which they end up blowing it up in his mouth, but he also dies because of that. Like when the boat sticks up in the air, he grabs on to the counter and is hanging there. And then the compressed air rolls over his hand and makes him let go, and he falls into the shark's mouth. So
I wonder what he was thinking. He's like, God damn it, I shouldn't have brought
damn
that.
expensive equipment.
Well, you know what I liked about his character and then the scientist, Hooper, is whenever he asks him to tie that sheep's head knot, Like he like throws the rope to him. He's like, "You're gonna come with me, tie this knot." And then he immediately is like, "All right, fucking."
He's
He
like,
ties the knot, and he's like,
Go ahead.
"Go ahead."
He's like, I haven't had to pass basic seafaring in a while. You didn't tell me what length you want it tied at.
Did you notice whenever he throws him the rope, he doesn't even check the knot to see if it's a good knot. He just like grabs it and throws it to the side. He's like, "Give me your hands."
Yeah, because he
Like,
he
he just-
realizes he can't like, yeah, you're trying to do the working class thing on him. Like he's past that, so now you got to go to something like, hold on, what's the thing? He's like,
We got city hands.
yeah, fuck,
Counting money.
yeah, that's what he says. If you know the phrase, go ahead and say it, or I will. You've been counting money
I don't
all your
know if I-
life. You got city hands.
Well, they do make the point to like exemplify that he is a rich kid because like
Yeah.
later on we see all that equipment, and if honestly if someone had all that equipment on a boat today, I'd be like, "This is a nice boat." So I imagine back then it probably seemed like a spaceship to the audience.
And I'm glad you used
He
that
said he
word.
paid for it all himself.
I'm glad you said spaceship because I thought that the fish finder sounded like R2D2. And this movie came out 2 years before Star Wars.
We know how close
And
he
George Lucas
are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think they're best buddies.
Mhm.
So I think that R2D2 might have been inspired by the fish finder of Jaws.
What do you think about
Or-
the fact that this created the summer blockbuster?
Is that a fact?
Yeah, apparently
A lot of
movies were
facts.
sent to
A lot of
summer.
facts from
Yeah.
Sam today. I'm gonna have to check.
Someone should have watched the documentary. We
Watch
could all
the
be. I
documentary.
sent everyone the links. All right.
No, I
sent
did.
everyone
I
the
did see
links.
that. It was like it was saying that back then generally like the summer was considered like the lull period for films, and then it said that Jaws released originally in whatever it was like 200 theaters, and then it was such a hit that they released it into 1,000 theaters, and then it kind of created the whole summer blockbuster thing. But also, what was the term, Sam? Started releasing into as many theaters as possible to try to get as many eyes on it, and Jaws kind of is the first movie to do that as well.
Yeah, I don't know the right term, but it's just spread out throughout the market. Sure, movies were sent to summer to die because people usually go see movies in the winter. That's when they want to be inside. They don't want to be inside during the summer. They're going to be out and about, the beach and shit.
I was gonna say they're gonna be doing what people are doing in this movie. You don't see anyone going to the theater in that movie.
I bet that helped tie into it too, is where it's like it's a movie about the summer in a way. So that was probably like, oh, maybe we'll check this out. But also the term blockbuster is because the line would be out the door going around the block. That's where it comes from.
So it would
I found all that very interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it was busting the block.
So after they introduce us to the fish finder and all the equipment, they're like the sonar is telling her like there's something out there, and they find that wrecked boat. This isn't like a scary movie, and I get it. At the time, it would have been scarier because that's how like horror works. But when he went scuba diving and the guy's head popped up in that hole, it scared the shit out of me. I knocked a huge bucket of popcorn over into Jay's lap and scared the shit out of Jay because of my response. I mean, I've watched Sinners and Weapons this year. That scared me more than anything in any of those two movies.
The whole time, as soon as he goes down, that's all I'm thinking the entire time is like the head is about to pop out, the head's about to pop out, the head's about to pop out. And it still got me when it happened. Like that's how good it is, which
You
the
were
funny
saying
thing-
that because you anticipated it, or you just remembered it happening?
No, yeah, I knew it from the
Okay.
past. Especially because that's the one jump scare in the whole movie that isn't the actual shark. It's one that's well discussed and I remembered. But the funny thing, I don't know if this came up in all your research, Sam, was that apparently they had shot the whole movie and Spielberg got to the end and was like, you know what, we need one more jump scare, and just added this in kind of at the end, which to everybody's point, it's clearly a good one. It was
I
very-
mean, it fucked me up.
I like Scooby-Doo jumped into Haley's arms when it happened.
Let's see.
Wait, okay, well, I want to talk about that scene for a second. I thought they were so stupid. I get that they've been drinking, but okay, what's their whole thought process right now? They're
Oh,
like,
I
"Oh,
also
I'm a shark-
forgot to say, yeah,
I'm a
weren't
shark
they at-
scientist."
So this boat venture happens because they are
Drunk.
they have dinner, and he's like, let the wine breathe. He's like, fuck you, just keeps pouring it, fills up the whole glass. And I wrote down, let's go get drunk and cut the shark open in a warehouse. Continue.
Dude, but yeah, so then they get on his boat and they get out there. And you can tell they're drunk. He's just like, one man can make a difference. And then he's like, oh, you want a pretzel? Like, they both look disheveled.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is he like explains to him, he's like, yeah, this is where he's been feeding along this path. This is his feeding time. And then all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I'm going to get in the water.
Yeah.
What? And he's like, I'm going to get in the water next to this crashed vessel that clearly could have been, I don't know,
Yes.
taken down by a shark.
And
Well,
I mean, being drunk would do it, but also after he gets the shit scared out of him by that head, he's just like hanging on the ladder. Get out of the fucking water, dude. Your fucking legs are in the water.
the only thing that could possibly justify that is the fact that they have the fish finder on the boat. So if there was like a giant shark coming towards them, they would know.
I guess.
That is true. You got a good
But
point
when
there.
he's diving,
He can't
what?
look at
Brody doesn't understand the fish finder.
Oh,
Oh, it's coming. Hey, get out! Like what? How's?
Plus he's drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Still couldn't get me in that water. I'd just be like, God damn.
Nah.
But speaking of their drunkenness, but the book apparently devotes a lot of time to Hooper, the scientist guy, fucking the chief's wife, and that whole scene there is like
No way.
Look at Jordan.
Yeah,
Jordan's like, I knew Jordan was going to be like,
I'm about
yes.
to cancel this and go read the book and start over. Damn.
Oh, no.
That is totally. I actually don't even know what to say. That totally changes everything.
that scene.
Because I haven't even gotten to you want to get drunk and fool around yet. And he's like, no, I'm obsessed with the water. Is that in the book? Like,
No, he says, oh, yeah. He says, oh, yeah.
yeah, but then he jumps up and runs away. It's
Well, because he
something
notices the
shark-related.
kid. Well, no, because he says, where's our
Well,
son?
stop
Like
worrying
trying to
about
be like,
your kid, and your wife won't be fucking
dude,
National
he's
Geographic
trying to fuck
man.
his wife. He's trying to fuck his wife. He wants to make sure his son's not nearby. He's like, so it makes perfect logic. He's like, oh, we're gonna get drunk, fool around. Where's the kids? You know what I mean?
They're
Like,
perfectly preoccupied on the boat. Leave them there, or your wife's gonna go
But then
fuck
she
the
said-
National Geographic guy.
dude. Honestly, though, that wife was so dumb. I'm like, why would you let them play around on the fucking boat?
Yeah, I mean,
That makes zero sense to me.
she's like,
she changed-
he's like, he's
on
not
the-
gonna get in the water. After yesterday,
He's on a boat.
he saw a person eaten alive yesterday. He's not gonna get in the water.
I'm like, dude, and the fact it happened yesterday and it happened to a little boy, I'm like, what is this mom? Is this mom a wino? What is going on here?
And when the dad's saying get him out of the water, and she's like, no, he's fine, and then has to see a picture of a shark eating a boat for it to finally click. Like there was a shark attack yesterday. You know exactly why. You don't need to see a picture of it for you to be like, oh, let's get the kid out of the water.
Dude, that boat that he's on it's called a sunfish. For those who don't know. But dude, those things tip over so easily. That's like their main thing is they tip over and capsize just like that. Like they're designed to be capsized. So all it would take is him to stand up and like if he stood up and just grabbed it and leaned a little, whole thing would flip over.
So
Then you'd have to get under it, fucking put the dagger board back in, fucking pull it back over.
So in the book, Ellen, the wife, is missing her old high society life in New York, which makes total sense.
Yep.
And that's why she's attracted to Hooper. But they completely dropped it for the movie.
So I wanted to know, watching it this time, she seemed like Hooper knocks on the door and like has a bottle of wine, and she's immediately like very happy to see him and very like eagerly friendly and whatever. And I was wondering, it felt a little unnatural to me, and I was like, did they film it originally as they were going to hook up and then cut it later, or was this just like the way it was acted out? It just seems so like this stranger is knocking on my door. Oh my God, yeah, come in. Like she's like really eager about it.
I thought that same thing, but I didn't know anything about their relationship in the book, so I didn't like second guess it.
I would say
Then he
that
immediately like
if you move to this island and you miss your high society wife and you've got some like academic like this coming in, like we're actually going to have a similar dinner now.
wow.
Yeah.
They also
Sure.
talk about how like she's not been able to ever since he got slapped earlier and got blamed for the shark killing. He's obviously just been drunk at the table
Yeah.
because he walks in the door and he's like,
she's like, oh, thank God somebody else showed up.
yeah, and he's like, hey, I'd like to speak to your husband. She's like, yeah, so would I. But then he sits down. I think JP is right because he sits down and he's like, oh, I'm hungry. Just pulls the guy's plate over to him.
Yeah.
Starts eating it.
Yeah.
Right in front of him at his dinner table.
That's a pretty good metaphor for what we're talking about here.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe they just did some odes to the book without including it in there. Ellen Brody
That would
is
completely take away from like the horror, like the whole genre of the movie.
Well, it's because this book, and it's similar, like very similar to The Godfather. The Godfather has like chapters devoted to how big Sonny's penis is, and how the girl that he's hooking up with in the beginning of the movie, I don't know a better way to say
She's
it.
real loose.
Yeah, and that like Sonny is like the only person who's able to satisfy her, and like so then she gets like surgery and like all of this stuff. That's like, what's the point of any of this? And it's just because it's a grimy, pulpy dime store novel that they just want to have everything in it. They want to have sex. They want to have all like the possible intrigue, and then it just got written by and created into one of the best movies ever. The same sort of thing with Jaws is like, this book is just kind of a dumpy thriller. Whatever book that's like popular for a month and falls out of fashion.
This isn't a historical novel. So you mentioned him getting slapped. Is he supposed to be valiant because he doesn't just throw the mayor under the bus right there? He's just like, it is my fault. I didn't do enough to close the beach.
He probably feels guilty.
Definitely, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was me, I'd be like, well, bitch. I wouldn't say bitch because she's a grieved mother, but I'd be like, well, yeah, talk to the mayor. I tried to close the beach and he wouldn't let me, but he just like fixed it on himself.
He kind of didn't, like, he was saying that he thought they should close the beach, and then the mayor was like pushing back against him, and then he just kind of went along with it. It's not like he was like tearing the doors down, like crying from the rooftops that they should close the beach. He just kind of went along with what the mayor said.
He's probably just got that Catholic guilt about him. Just this is my fault, even though I'm only partially to blame. It's all my fault.
Also, he just like took responsibility for it. Like,
yeah, it's why. It's probably what got him in the idea of being a sheriff or being a chief of police. Like, I need to protect people. I need to make a difference. One man can make a difference.
That scene does a really good job of establishing his motives are different than the mayor's, or his job is different. He has different responsibilities. He's responsible to that lady more than the mayor, and turning to her and saying, it's not my fault, it's the mayor's. I almost wish they had put that in there just so that the mom could be like, you think I give a shit? You're the cop.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying he's more valiant by not doing the blame game.
Well, I was trying to figure this out, and I think this is
product placement out here. Didn't I tell you last time no fucking eating on air?
Is this eating? I'm drinking. I didn't know that you weren't allowed to sip water. And
no logos on air. How about that?
Right,
That's definitely not water.
This is.
But go ahead, Sam. Sam, what are the stickers on behind you?
Those aren't stickers. That's it's a beach from above. So we got people. Here, let me zoom in for you.
Oh,
see? So we got the beach, people on the beach, and then here's the water. So it's like a drone shot above a beach. Damn, this whole time you thought it was fucking stickers? Dude, I thought I was doing something here. I got a lifeguard shirt on.
No idea what you were doing.
I knew what you had going, Sam. I appreciate it.
Jesus. Look, I got a fucking turtle on a screen over here.
All right.
I was putting in some work, man. I was trying out different things.
You said no product placement, Jordan?
Yes, no product placement. And definitely no non-alcoholic beer. JP's even passionate about that.
Damn, you spotted that immediately?
Yeah, I can tell what the fucking logo is. All right. So now we're at the point where all these people have been killed and they're like, we got to hire Captain Quint. And they take us to his little shack and they're both just like at awe with all the stuff around there. He's a moonshiner. He's like, try this, Chief. I brewed it myself. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
I love that.
What does that mean?
Okay. I think it has to do with manatee. Well. I think it has to do with manatees, right?
Big women. JP would be able to tell you that if it was.
But it's bow-legged women. What does that do with manatees?
So manatees are the inspiration for mermaids. And if you look at what manatees look like, they got bow legs. If you look at what manatee from below in the water, they got bow legs. This is where scientist puts in a little clip of bow-legged manatees in the corner here.
So,
hey, Jamie, pull that up.
Bow-legged means that...
Yeah, where's our Jamie, man?
The joke is that a bow-legged woman's stance might leave more room between her thighs.
Dude, I thought... Somebody asked me what that meant last night, and that's what I thought. And I was like, I don't want to say that. There's no way that's right.
Yeah, you're too much
that was my assumption.
To talk about loose women.
But I like Sam's theory. So basically you're saying, like, it's a reference to mermaids?
Kind of, yeah. If you look up a picture of what manatees' knees look like, that's where the inspiration for mermaids comes from.
A temptress.
Yeah.
When he's like, you got city hands, Mr. Hooper, counting money all your life. He's like, I don't need this working class shit.
I don't need this working class hero shit.
I'm banging the sheriff's wife.
He says crap, actually, which I misremembered his shit, but on my second rewatch, I was like, why do you say crap? And I'm like, it is PG, I guess.
When was Jesus H. Christ popularized as a phrase? Because it is used a lot in this movie.
Talking
no
about
idea.
talking about the
Also,
difference
is
between.
H for Hussein?
I don't know what the fuck H is for, and I should know this.
H doesn't stand for anything real.
Does that have to do with Nazareth or something?
Yeah.
Talking about Quint. We see him as just being like this weird Captain Ahab guy, but then we find out later on about his tragic backstory, right?
Yeah.
Now, to talk about deviations from the book,
We delivered the
that
bomb.
is something that's not in the book. He doesn't have a tragic backstory.
Am I making this up that he improv that, Robert Shaw? Like had the idea the night before or something? Yeah.
Someone on set did come up with it. And
You know it was improv.
What?
You're going to need a bigger boat.
It's a great line, too.
And they didn't go get a bigger boat. Why didn't they use the big ass boat that they had with the geography? I get that the captain wouldn't want to go on it, but they didn't address that. Let's go use this rickety ass
Also-
boat.
I might be getting ahead of myself, but when Quint is just like clearly about to blow the engine
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
and he's
that
just
was
not
ridiculous.
listening to
That was
Hooper,
ridiculous.
like I'm like, this
Well,
is
dude,
ridiculous. Yeah.
He did that on purpose.
He wants to die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
that's
he
the
at least
Moby Dick
wants-
stuff.
Mm.
I want to.
Can't
I want to
I-
be
Well, for-
stuck out here to face this shark.
He meant to die. Obviously, in the end, when you're actually faced with your own pain and death, you might have been squirming and regretting his decisions, but he clearly was like, I am dying when I kill this thing.
He got fucked up by that shark.
Yeah. But he's like this motor mouth with mile a minute jokes. That's definitely not what you think of when you think of Captain Ahab. That's definitely not in Moby Dick. Like they just added, he is so much of the comedic relief in this movie. And I love that. It makes him such a ridiculous character too. That's the best.
Well,
Like,
he's
the only one that's like a real actor out of this whole bunch. He does Shakespeare, and he just happened to take this role.
That's the other thing that until this movie, he's best known for A Man for All Seasons and Shakespeare, which A Man for All Seasons might as well be Shakespeare. Like if you watch it, that's what it is. And now for the rest of time, he's remembered as like this mush mouth. You can't even understand him, drunk jokester on a boat. It's so fucking funny.
he's
Well, he
also.
died
It also
because he's such a drunk in real life.
Yeah, that's.
Is
I'd
he?
like to touch on. Yeah, I'd like to touch on that at one point if we can. All right, so him and Richard Dreyfuss, the guy who plays Hooper, they actually did not get along in real life, and there's several reasons why. One of the reasons why is like whenever Hooper gets to set, he's like holding up a newspaper of himself in his latest movie, and he's like, "I should be signing autographs. I shouldn't be here. Look at the reviews I'm getting." And immediately that guy, who's like a classically trained actor, apparently he used to say stuff to him like, "Look at you. You're half my age. You're fat. You're short. Yeah, you're wasting your body." And then one day on set, the guy who plays Quinn is talking about how he's like, "Man, I wish I could quit drinking." And Hooper just grabs his bottle and throws it into the water. And like the whole set, Steven Spielberg said it was the shot heard around the set. Everyone just got quiet and was like, "Oh, fuck." And then the guy who plays Quint just like stared at him for a real long time. And then they thought everything was good. And as soon as it was Hooper's turn to do a scene, Quint grabbed a fire hose and shot him in the face with it. These guys were beefing in real life.
Yeah, the stories are crazy on that. And something about Robert Shaw having a bounty on Dreyfuss's head where he would pay anybody if they messed with him, basically, or like prank on him. And Spielberg is, again, he's 27. All these guys are way more famous than him and way more successful or whatever. Like he can't reel them in. He's trying as best as he can. And that's part of it. He had no gravitas, right? He had no credentials on this and no one was going to listen to him. To the point, like, while we're on the topic of pranks, even though this is the end, like he heard that the whole crew was going to like basically like dunk him in the water or do some big prank on him on the last day when they wrapped. So he
Yes.
just skipped it. He was just like, the cameraman can't, I'm not going to be there. Like that's just so funny. This is the most ridiculous. And then obviously every movie that's ever come after that from Spielberg is like famously the most quiet, professional, no drama set. There's never been drama on another Spielberg movie ever since.
Well, didn't Spielberg say that he still has nightmares to this day about filming Jaws? I didn't even know about all the conflict between all the actors. I thought it was just a money thing. I think it took 3 times as long to shoot than they originally planned. But yeah,
Well,
that coupled with a bunch of big personalities.
The guy who played Quint, since he's not from America, he's from England, he ended up losing half of his salary or something because they shot over and he had to pay taxes to the IRS in America. And he was like, "Motherfucker." No movie had been this much over schedule,
Okay.
over schedule,
Over
and over
schedule.
budget. Yeah. I think they were 100 days over schedule, which is insane if you think about it.
Well,
And then to this day, he won't like shoot his last shot. He's just like a superstitious thing where he's like, "Hey, it worked for me in Jaws. That's my thing now. I don't shoot the last shot."
That's pretty cool.
What's funny is that it went so much over budget, but I think in all it was like $9 million was the entire budget.
Yeah.
Which is,
And like 5% of that was the sharks, like the animatronic sharks.
So when they first see the shark, he's like telling Chief Brody, who's fucking scared of the water, he's telling him to go out there on the end, and he's repeating it, and he's about to do it, and he's like, I need to give some scale to how big the shark is in the picture.
But yeah,
That was so funny.
I feel like at that point they didn't really realize how much danger they were in.
What about they
Like
just
Cooper
start
was-
shooting at the water, and like their plan to get the shark was absolutely horrible. They're shooting into the water, which is a waste of time. They're like, let's bring him into the shallows and drown him. They're like, let's drug him. Let's stick a needle in him. Let's go in a cage and stick a needle in him.
It was so unclear until like half the time they were on the boat. It was super unclear. I leaned over and I was like, what is there? They were attaching the barrels of air, the empty barrels to the shark. But at one point I was like, what is their actual plan? Obviously that's for tracking him, but how are they going to actually kill him?
I just had a question. Are we going to skip over the Indianapolis speech scene, or are we not there yet? Dude, I thought it was genius to put that in the movie to give us a reason why he's so obsessed with sharks. Because that's a real story, right? I mean, some parts are wrong, like that didn't really happen in that month, and they didn't deliver the bomb itself, but they did deliver like a component that was used for the bomb. But the rest of it is true. Their ship got sank, and they weren't allowed to call for help
But he
because
says
it was so secret of a mission.
But he says that, like, he was like one of the only person that survived, right? But in the real,
I think
in the real,
300.
in the real stories, almost all of them, only like 200 got eaten.
No,
I think his
I
thing
just
was
looked
like,
it up, and it
Let me
says
look it up. What's the
900 of
stats?
1100 survived.
okay.
dude, that's a lot of people that got eaten. Imagine seeing that many people get eaten.
Yeah, but he stated the inverse. He feels this guilt of like, why am I the only one that survived?
He said like 1,200 started with 1,200 and only 300 survived. Something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a way smaller number, but still. Apparently on set, there was a woman on set who was working there, and she had to leave because her son died on the Indianapolis, and she didn't know the full story
Damn.
until that moment. She's like, "Okay, I'm not hanging out here."
How does she not know the story?
They just protected her from it.
I imagine back then there's no
Oh, it's
social
also,
media.
I guess it was like a secret mission as well. So like,
yeah, we
maybe
get
it was like-
movies and
Yeah, I mean,
it's
they're
crazy.
they're
You
down
know,
there in
hey,
the brig getting hammered. They depict like how shitty the life out at sea is. I don't know if you guys have ever been on a boat where people live on it, but like
Yes.
I just went on one in Alaska with this guy we met, and it's fucking gross, and it is miserable. So they're just like, let's get hammered. What were they eating on the boat?
I thought they had good food actually, but I maybe you're
yeah, I thought
misremembering.
everybody liked it.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
go ahead.
with you on that boat in Alaska, and we walk in there, smells horrible, hasn't been cleaned in a long time. There's a bong sitting on the counter, and it's just black. And I was like, oh, they just haven't used that in like months.
true.
It's just been sitting there. And then I go out on the deck, and I turn around, and the dude sticks his head out, and he's hitting the bong.
Sounds like my old roommate.
And
Yeah.
that guy actually was sleeping. The guy that we met at the bar had told me that he was going to quit drinking because he had gotten blacked out a couple days before this. And his best friend bought this ship. So he's the captain, and he went to work on the boat. And his best friend's girlfriend seduced him, and they slept together because she and him were in an open relationship. So he was wrestling with a lot of demons about that. And we're here talking about, the affairs of the novel. So
That does tie into it.
That monologue about the Indianapolis was definitely one of the peaks of the movie.
Y'all remember my dad's friend Bill, the old man at the wedding, was filming all the girls, zooming in on him from a distance. Well, his dad has survived the Indianapolis, and he talks about like what it was like. He was working in the boiler room too. He's like one of the first people. The water starts coming, has to like make his way up to the top, and he was a mean drunk. Half the reason Bill can't even hear is because his dad just kept boxing him in the ears.
what
You think his figure's pruned?
Oh, yeah,
what about
bad fish.
what about Hooper's decision once the cage is busted open to go down and hide in the reef. I thought that was pretty slick. When he emerges later, I'm not sure. He's like hiding in the rubble of the ship. I'm not sure if he saw the shark explode, but it's pretty ballsy move to go back to the surface then.
I thought it was really cool. There's the dichotomy of the movie where you're on land and safe, and then you're in the water, and anytime anybody's in the water, you're just on edge. And then he completely immerses himself in the shark's world. I thought the only option was for him to go and hide.
It was showing that he knows about these things. Like
Knowledgeable, yeah.
everyone else would freak out and swim to the surface. But
I'll tell you what, that shark would definitely follow him down.
Because he's so smart.
Like a year or two ago, I went and visited my buddy who is a fishing charter down in the Keys. He spearfished a grouper, and that attracts a lot of like blood out of the water, but it swam in a reef just like that. And so Mike's down there trying to like shove his arm in there and grab the shark grouper, and I'm looking at from above. A fucking 6 or 7 foot nurse shark swims right above him, and it can see him perfectly. Even the dumbest shark is going to be like, "Oh, let me go check the reef." That's their habitat.
Hooper also wasn't bleeding, I guess.
I don't think he
But yeah,
was.
I
He
mean,
like after Hooper? Or was he after the boat, or what was he after?
yeah, I
He's
think
after
he was
Hooper.
focused on the boat.
Anyway,
Well, I
Yeah.
figured the only reason he crashed the cage is so he could get to Hooper.
Yeah, he definitely was in that moment. But
Okay, I have another question about sharks. I'm sorry, but if they have such slow digestive systems, why is this motherfucker so hungry? And he's not even finishing his meals half the time. He's like, let me drop a leg. Oh, let me leave this guy's head in a boat. What?
He's vindictive. He's also huge. He's like 25 feet long. So
Yeah, they just made him a mean asshole. He's just like hunting for sport.
it's a 20
That's why I
footer,
go back to the.
25 footer, 3 tons at him.
That's why it
Yeah.
made me think about the Andromedus Rex from the Jurassic World, where they're like, it's killing for sport. That's what this shark feels like it's doing.
did anybody talk about how the ship's name is Orca?
No, he didn't.
Orcas kill sharks. Orca whales kill
Yeah.
sharks.
that's cool.
Did anybody watch Duel?
Nah, I didn't.
God damn you. I texted all of you separately to watch Duel.
Oh, the movie? No, I didn't get a chance.
Well, they do a similar thing where Spielberg talks about how he made a TV movie where this trucker is chasing down this little car just because the car cut him off in traffic. And the whole movie he spends trying to kill him, and the truck just keeps popping up in different places. And it has a very similar feel to the shark. Whenever he read the script for Jaws, he was like, oh, this is Duel in the water. It's even got a similar 4-letter title like Duel, Jaws. And at the end of that movie, the truck like goes over a cliff, and it's kind of in slow motion, and it flips over, and you hear like this almost like T-Rex like noise where it's like "Rrrr." He does in Jaws, whenever the shark dies, it like flips over, and he used the exact same sound effect. And he was like, yeah, kind of like me paying homage to Duel for putting me on the map and letting me make this movie.
Huh. I gotta watch that, man. All right, we also have to read the book.
What do we think about the way that he got killed at the end?
Super sick and not overhanded on the foreshadowing. But when did he miss a point blank shot at the shark? Because I wrote down Chief of Police misses point blank shot. It couldn't have had the canister in his mouth yet.
I think it's when they attach the second barrel and he's like swimming by and he just it just shows the boat like long ways down the thing and he just leans out from behind it with a pistol and he's just he just
5 feet
fires.
away and he misses the 25-foot shark.
They hadn't had a murder there in 25 years, so
This guy he's got 4 eyes though. I mean, was he wearing his glasses?
Well,
at
he's the
scene?
New
'Cause-
York City Chief of Police too. That's why I'm saying he should be a good shot. He's not just the Amity police guy.
Do you notice how the Captain Quint he went out of his way to only hate Hooper, even though like Brody had a lot of the same like flaws, like he didn't know a lot about boats and stuff. Where there was a moment where Brody unties the canisters and they all kind of fall.
Yeah.
Hooper starts bitching at him, and then immediately after Hooper walks away, he like looks at the cop and he's like, "Hey, Chiefy, just ask me next time. I'll tell you which ropes to do. Don't worry about him."
But isn't that
It's
because
just like, dude,
isn't that because Brody's not trying to be he's not trying to say I know a bunch about sharks in the ocean.
I have a strong
he's
feeling.
not like
Go ahead.
he's not challenging Quint at all.
I don't
to
think he
be,
felt
like,
threatened
An
by it.
expert. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But if Hooper wasn't around, I think Brody would have caught a lot more flack. Like Brody was probably because he's a city boy himself, but since Hooper's around, he's like, oh, I'm gonna hate him more than. Go ahead, JP.
I thought the death of the shark was super quick, and I felt the ending was super like it just kind of like it just
I
ended.
like how it ended.
It was abrupt.
and they didn't go back
Cool.
and they just swim off back to the town. But I was gonna ask you guys to tell me what you thought about it.
I mean, I don't know how you blow something up slowly. Like they would have. I don't know what the solution would have been there.
Not the actual process of blowing him up, but the lead up was just like he's destroying everything. He's this huge threat.
Yeah, it's because their plan to
He's
kill him
sinking their
was
boat,
fucking
and then
stupid.
boom, he's
That's
dead.
why it feels that way. Their plan was so stupid, you don't even realize that they're in the middle of the plan to kill him. And now it's over. Like, but really, they were trying to kill him the whole time, but you had no clue.
Also, the shark has the compressed air in its mouth. Brody's trying to climb up on the mast. He has a gun on one shoulder and he's got a spear on the other shoulder, and he grabs the spear and starts just poking it in the head. And I'm like, dude, grab the gun. You have a rifle on your shoulder and you're trying to poke it to death.
We're doing the Jaws 2 podcast.
Never.
It's got to be contemporary, Jordan.
I'm not,
Oh.
I forgot that was, I've never seen it.
I haven't seen.
And,
And there's a Jaws 3.
Dude,
Is
there's too
there,
many.
like- Is there a consensus? Is there like, do people say that Jaws 2 is good?
And there's Jaws the Revenge.
No.
I've heard some
so.
people be like, "Well, there are parts of it that are decent."
There's
but
a Jaws 5.
Hey, which one has Michael Caine?
It's
in
called
it? Is it
Cruel.
Jaws the
It's called
Revenge?
Cruel Jaws. It's English language Italian horror film by Bruno Mattei.
Which one has Michael Caine in it? Which
think
Jaws?
that's
Is it
3D.
Jaws?
Don't know.
Jaws 3D?
yeah,
That's why they make a joke about it in Back to the Future 2, where they have like the 3D Jaws shark like come out on the ground and like eat someone and like go back. But Michael Caine has a quote where he's like talking about whatever Jaws sequel he was in, and he's being interviewed, being like, "Have you seen the sequel?" And he's like, "No, I haven't seen it yet. And from what I understand, it's terrible. However, I have seen the house that it bought my mother, and it's fantastic."
Dang.
That lets you know how good the other Jaws movies are.
Yeah,
We got the main actor being like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing that shit." I
but
think it was
Yeah,
Jaws.
I'm not chomping at the bit to see Jaws 2.
At the end, I was kind of confused whenever he's like, I used to hate the water. Whenever they're like paddling away, he's like, I wonder why. I'm like, are we supposed to believe he likes the water now? I would be fucking terrified of it.
yeah,
That would do it for me.
this is the movie that everybody talks about. People stopped going to the beach for years after this movie. It had an actual effect on market behaviors. But we're supposed to believe Brody's like, yeah, I love the water now.
Yeah, that dude. And also the way they're paddling into shore. This is how you get eaten by a shark in real life. They got their legs flapping like flippers, and they got this big flotation device
Well, they
making
killed the
them
shark.
look exactly.
Well, we've established
Like-
there are a lot of other sharks in these waters.
No,
Yeah, dude,
they
there's-
got the fucking shark. Come on.
Hey, I liked whenever they said going back to whenever Hooper's first of all, he's like, "That's a tiger." They're like, "What kind of shark is this?" He's like, "That's a tiger shark." That one big fat guy like turns around, he's like, "Oh, what?" You remember that scene
don't
where he's like,
remember
it's so drawn out too. He's like, "What kind of shark is that?" And he's like, "It's a tiger shark." And he's like, "Oh, what?" I was like, "Is this a town homosexual? Who's this guy?"
I gotta watch it
All
again.
right.
I think Brody,
good.
Quint, and Hooper is one of the best male trio names ever. Because usually with those, the names start to sound like each other. There's very clear overlap, or they're all 2-syllable or something like that. And this was just very original and fits. Brody, Quint, and Hooper.
I saw your review and I was like, "This motherfucker loves Jaws."
It's just a great boy names.
The shark was supposed to be in the movie a lot more, but they kept having mechanical failures. They had 3 animatronic sharks that, by the way, were like $250,000 each. Yeah, the sharks were supposed to be in it like way more, but they kept having mechanical failures. So like that's why you like hardly ever see the shark in the movie until like the very end, obviously. But it turned the movie into like more suspense as opposed to just like the shark being in every scene.
Yeah, it probably worked out better. I don't know if you
Yeah,
had joined the
definitely.
call when they were talking about it was designed for fresh water, and that's why it wasn't working.
Yeah, they
in
designed it
saltwater.
for fresh water.
Like always hiding the monster is always better than showing the monster because it can't be scarier than your imagination.
Yep.
Well, they do this a little bit in Duel as well, where we know that he's being chased by this truck driver, right? But we never see the truck driver. We only ever see the truck. Occasionally, we see an arm or a boot, but we never actually see him. And I think he definitely was like, "I'll make this more like Duel, or we'll just hide the shark." Except whenever we have that scene where he's in the cage, I was watching that, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably thought the same thing. Maybe not immediately, but I was like, "That is not a fake shark." Like, yeah, whenever it's ramming into the cage, that's a fake shark. Whenever it zooms out and we just see it swimming around, I was like, that is not a fake shark.
I thought, that's a that whole thing of don't use the shark much or they hide it a lot early on. This time watching it, I was like, no, it's in it a lot more than I remember, or it gets talked about. It's in it a good bit, and when it is, it looks pretty good. Like,
No, I'm not using a euphemism here. They used a real shark in that scene.
Yeah.
In the scene whenever Hooper's in the cage, they used real sharks, but they just filmed them from a distance. Whenever we see the shark swimming around, like in the water, it's like they didn't have good enough animatronics back then. Because every time we see the shark in the water, he's just got his mouth open.
There's never a moment in that movie where I was like, "Oh, that's a fake shark." Never looks.
It looks pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw the 2016 Godzilla in theaters, and that Godzilla looked damn horrible. Yeah,
That's a lie.
I mean, looked
You're gonna
terrible.
get Sam fired up with that one.
Liar.
So yeah, pretty impressive that they did that in 1975.
I think that's it.
Well,
Unless
hanging out with you. Thanks for making it, Ellison.